If you don't know how to do what we're talking about in today's episode, you absolutely need to learn how. Like, you can't spar without knowing this. What are we talking about? We're talking about having an opponent across from us and being able to stop them from approaching us. I cannot tell you how many times people at gyms, usually beginners, tell me when my instructor or one of the more advanced people in class get in front of me, I have no way to stop them from coming forward. They just move forward and they pressure and they pressure and they pressure. And in general, there's an easy solution to this. Now, if this person's skill level is so much higher than yours, there are other issues there, like disparity in skill level. But you should still have down a few basics which can at least put enough fear into this person that they go, yeah, I can't just walk forward. And I'll do that when I'm in sparring sessions sometimes. I'm like, this guy has nothing for me. Usually there's somebody who's been training for under 2, 3, 4 years. And I'll just put my hands up and I'll come right forearm to forearm and I have no fear about moving forward. You have to have an answer for this. No answer means you're constantly overwhelmed. You feel like a little kid with an adult across from you who can just walk forward whenever they want, put their hand on your head and just push you down to the ground. Can't be a good feeling. I haven't had this feeling mostly because I'd say pretty much since the time I was 12, I had a couple good techniques to stop people from moving forward. And there are many answers, but that is a great one. Have 1 or 2 techniques that you know can do enough damage, and as soon as the person moves forward, boom, you hit them with it. Sometimes that's just enough. But just having 1 technique in my mind is not enough. And my problem that I used to have was, especially when I transitioned from karate to kickboxing, I had a great lead leg off the right side kick. It was my go-to for point fighting. I would bounce around, somebody would come forward, boom, I'd smack them right in the stomach with it. All of a sudden you transition to kickboxing and you have this 1 technique. Well, it's great, it can stop people, but we're not playing for points, we're playing for damage. So as long as the person walked forward with their arms tight, like this, I would just hit here. And then I would have to deal with, oh, what do I do after? So this is why we need a couple different techniques. Because if the person knows you're coming at 1 level, they know every time you step forward, you're just going to, boom, step back and give you a cross. All they have to do is put their hands up here and just go, okay, I'll deal with the first punch. So imperative that we have a couple different levels and hopefully a couple ways to make them miss as well. We don't want to only be able to stand our ground and just go, okay, there's this truck coming towards us and we're just going to stand here and try and stop it. But we do have to remember that that is a good solution, because if somebody's moving forward and we throw our technique, even if it's not the most powerful technique in the world, because they're moving into it, they've increased the force. It's going to be more damaging. That's why a lead leg, whether it be side kick, front kick, even a round kick with the shin, as they move in and you hit them, that should instill enough fear, because they move into this sharp toe or foot, ball of the foot, jamming into their torso. But if you don't have down a couple different techniques and the ability in my mind to step backwards and then cut a little angle so they have to reset, if you don't have down those 2 things, you're always going to feel like the little kid who's getting bullied by somebody way bigger than them. And it's just not fair and there's no solution. So I would say if somebody said to me, what are going to be your go-to techniques to stop somebody from just walking forward and bullying you? I would say for the average person, get down your lead leg front kick, right? It doesn't matter if you're bouncing around, you can still fire it up and then have down 1 punch. And it doesn't matter to me what it is. It could be a good cross. It could be a snappy jab to stop them as they walk in. It could be a big left hook, something. So now we have 2 different levels that we're hitting them at, and we have that ability as well to take that step back and cut that angle. If we have down these 3 things now, we've all of a sudden given this person across from us a reason to respect us with 2 possible techniques to stop them, plus a reason where they might just move forward and there's nothing to hit. And if they just truck forward and they have nothing to hit, next time they might not just walk forward. They might go, okay, I have to be a little bit more thought aware and not just go, oh, I'm coming. Maybe they'll try and fake and then they'll have to cut the angle and try and stay with you. And that stops that bullying. So getting this down is imperative so that when you're in your sparring class and you end up with somebody who's more skilled than you, you at least have some idea what to do. When skill levels are somewhat even, you generally won't see people bully others. We get the odd exception, people like Better Biev, who fought Bevel the other day, who just has this disregard for other people's power, and you just see him, he just kind of walks forward. Somebody's backing up and he's just there chasing them. He doesn't have an incredibly high guard when he does it. He doesn't have awesome head movement. He's just willing to kind of have a shot glance off him to all of a sudden start his attack. So we do get anomalies like this who can, as Better Biev has been doing, basically dominate his division. If you get somebody like that, you need an awesome game plan and a super set of skills. But fortunately for most of us, there are not too many Better Bievs out there in the world. So I hope this episode helps you guys. Thank you for joining today. I'll see you back here tomorrow.